Every year, June 20 is dedicated to raising awareness of refugees. World Refugee Day was first celebrated in 2001 to mark the 50th anniversary of the United Nations 1951 Refugee Convention, which defined who a refugee is and set out the rights of people granted asylum and responsibilities of nations that grant it. Every 3 seconds, one person becomes displaced, and 1 in every 97 people is an asylum-seeker, internally displaced person, or a refugee. How are these terms different? Here is a quick rundown.
A refugee is someone who flees their country because of persecution based on race, religion, nationality, political opinion, or membership in a particular social group, according to the 1951 Convention. UNHCR, the UN Refugee Agency, said that by the end of 2019, 79.5 million people were forced to flee to outside countries.
Asylum seekers are refugees whose claim to refugee status hasn't been evaluated and therefore do not have any legal recognition. Around 4.2 million people were waiting for a decision on their asylum claims at the end of 2019.
An IDP has fled their home but has not crossed an international border to find sanctuary. Even if they flee because of armed conflict, violence, or human rights violations, they remain legally under the control of their government, even if the government might be the reason they fled. About 45.7 million people were IDPs at the end of 2019.
Migrant is an umbrella term for someone who moves away from their home, but not necessarily because of a direct threat of persecution or death. They may be moving temporarily or permanently, legally or illegally. There were over 280 million migrants in 2020, according to the International Organization for Migration. Though refugees, asylum seekers, internally displaced people, and migrants may seem similar, each group is protected differently. For example, the 1951 Convention outlined certain rights for people deemed refugees, while migrants have no such rights. Refugees are protected from being deported or returned to life-threatening situations. Their new countries are expected to give them access to social services and integrate them into society. Migrants, on the other hand, are subject to a country's immigration laws and procedures. They can be turned away or deported.